Alright guys, welcome to my predictions for week 4 of the NA Challengers League. Um, I went 5-1 last week, only getting the guard TSM game wrong, which most people got wrong, to be fair. And that puts me at 14-4 overall in the season. Uh, After last week, I'm pretty proud of my predictions so far this year, or this season, I guess. Um, but, but yeah, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Really helps me out. Doesn't take very long. Just kind of, you gotta click it. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into the video. Actually, looking back at it, um, last week I picked Oxygen to beat G2, but for some reason that didn't change in the pick'ems. It was very close for me. So I'm actually 13-5 on the season, and I went 4-2 last week instead of 5-1 and 14-4. And with our first match of the week, we have M80 versus DSG. I'm going to take M80 here. I think they just looked really clean last week against Mad Lions. Their third week in a row of doing that. I mean, second week, but it wasn't that against OR. But I think DSG's overall experience is going to make this a little bit closer because, I mean, they're just a better team than Mad Lions. They're more experienced. They have better firepower at this point. But I think I'm still going to take the favorite here in M80. I know I'm going to be rooting for DSG, even though I'm predicting M80 here. And next up, we have TSM versus OR Esports. I'm going to take TSM here. They looked surprisingly good last week when they beat the Guard. This was just super unexpected considering Guard looked like the best team in Challengers by far, and TSM had just dropped their IGL and Haze. But GMD on the smokes roll, what Haze was playing, and what I would assume is IGLing. Because I think he's IGL'd in the past, and I don't know of anybody else on that team that would IGL. But he seemed to replace him very well. His calling was pretty good, and yeah, I think TSM should be able to take this versus probably the worst team in Challengers. All right, and now we have G2 versus Turtle Troop. Last week, I predicted that Turtle Troop would upset Moist Esports, and I got that right. But I don't see them doing it this week. I think G2 should be able to handle them, even though their calling looked a lot more structured with Tig, and that allowed Governor to kind of go crazy in that game. But I expect G2 with overall very good firepower and very, very structured calling, all just general structure as well. With Oxy going crazy last week, I think that was his first really, really good week in my opinion. And I expect them to fairly easily take this game and probably finish undefeated in their group. And now we have the Guard versus Mad Lions. Neither of these teams looked very good last week to their standards, but I think I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt to the Guard here. They looked like the best team in Challengers hands down the 3 weeks before, or 2 weeks before. And I think it was just a down week for them, I'm going to be honest. And I think they get back on track this week. Mad Lions playing with Narrate. He looked okay. I didn't see a ton there, but overall, I think the Guard should pretty easily take this against the inexperienced Mad Lions. So now we have Shopify versus Moist Moguls, who have just entered Valorant as of last week. But they started off in a close loss to Turtle Troop when they're in what I believe to be like a honeymoon phase. But I think Moist should be able to get back on track against Shopify this week. Shopify didn't look great last week. And yeah, I think they should be able to pick up their first win as an org. And finally here, we have Faze Clan versus Oxygen. And I'm going to take Faze for the second week in a row. Kind of similar story to last week. They took the 2-week break off and are looking better than ever now. They've integrated Rossi very well. I think this roster, with time to grow, should be very, very good for like the midseason invitational and split 2, and should be able to beat Oxygen, who are currently struggling right now. And I think with this loss, probably puts them out of contention for making that midseason invitational. All right, So those are my predictions for this week. Just to recap, I have M80 over DSG, TSM over OR, G2 over Turtle Troop, The Guard over Mad Lions, Moist Moguls over Shopify, and Faze over Oxygen. So make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and leave a comment on who you guys think is going to win this week.